So, also along with the schedule release, right? Teams took a very interesting approach. They got very creative. Like one team did like a Minecraft video, another did Mario Kart. So, the Colts and the Chargers, they actually had the same Minecraft video type idea, but that wasn't even their biggest issue. So, the Colts faced backlash because they inserted a clip of a boat pulling over a dolphin that mocked Tyreek Hill. And as we know, Tyreek Hill was detained earlier in the season by police. So the Colts have since deleted the video and they actually apologized saying, we removed our schedule release video because it exceeded our rights with Microsoft and included an insensitive clip involving Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill. We sincerely apologize to Microsoft and Tyreek. So I'm going to ask you, Maurice, first. After having seen the clip, did you take a problem with it when you seen it?
Nah, I mean, I'm a jokester though, so I joke. And, you know what I'm saying? I just always when I think of things, I think about intention and mentality, right?
Yeah.
And I can just see somebody jokingly having fun with something that was so serious, right? And it just all comes from like, what generation are you from? Like sometimes like there's harsh comedy, there's dark comedy, there's things that I'm embarrassed about with my past that people joke with me about. And if I know that there's no real malice behind it, like you take it as such. And so I'm just picturing like, little young white dudes making this video, thinking something is funny. And this is just me. This is my opinion. These are my thoughts. And, they just made a video just heckling and poking fun at somebody that they're about to go compete against. And so I don't take it that way. But sometimes when you live in the era of social media where everything is offensive and everything, like there used to be a time, and I'll say this before I finish my point, there used to be a time where just everybody didn't have an opinion about everything, where like people just like let things be what they were and moved on. But the fact that I'm pretty sure you had all the hecklers online, getting mad at the coach and talking about it was insensitive and so on and so forth. They probably caught like some PR pressure and decided to take it down.
Honestly, I just grew up on social media this week. I think I finally had my epiphany,
What was the
Before this, Cam used to always be like, yo, Mase, you need to get on Instagram. You need to do this more. Pause. And I would be like, man, people be talking crazy. I don't come from that. And then something happened. I just felt like, it's like you got to understand anything goes out here. And it just finally clicked for me. And I just want to acknowledge that. So when I hear this thing about Tyreek Hill, I'm kind of laughing about it because now I kind of get it, that it's just all fun. It's not somebody really trying to slander you or anything like that. Because, that's how my mind used to think. You say something crazy when I see you, we straight there. We going straight there. And I had to realize, no, these people don't mean it like that. You run up to them, they be like, it's content. And I'm thinking, content? It
yes?
can't be content, And not that anyone did this to me, but I it just clicked for me because I was of the old school mindset that no, you don't play like that. You don't do that. You don't say this. You don't, and I had to realize it's just content. That's all it is. Nobody really hates anybody. People are just saying what they believe they need to say. I've never been that person, but that's how most people operate. They're just saying what they think they need to say. And sometimes we're overreacting to things that people are just saying for you to give them a third interview or for you to give them a fifth thing to say or a fourth thing to say. But when it comes to Tyreek Hill, I think they should have left it up, actually. I think they should have left it up. I thought it was hilarious from the comedy state. And I think we got to decide, do we want to be people that are always serious or are we people that can give a joke? Because if you can give a joke, then you got to be able to take a joke. And I think there's too many people that can only give a joke. Like people can say something funny, but when they're part of what is funny, they don't like it. And that's what clicked for me this week because I realized I do it to people all the time, and I know I don't mean anything by it. I know it was just in the moment. It was a joke, like Sexy Red, the first lady of the church. That it was just a joke, but somebody like, yo, don't be playing with Sexy. She's a, this, and it definitely wasn't meant that way. Shout out to Sexy.
That's a really good point. I want to kind of talk about it a little bit because obviously on the outside we can think it was funny because honestly I thought it was funny too, but we can't dictate how Tyreek Hill receives it. And obviously after the fact he came out and said, should have left it up. This was funny. So if he thinks that's
Mm-hmm.
funny, cool, but it's like certain things, the whole is just content. I don't even think like that because I'm just the type of person who acts on good. That's just how I was raised. That's just how I think. So that's how I'm going to perform about things. But you can't tell somebody how to react. So when you have a response, they're going to react how they want to, whether that's what your intention was for them to have backwards or not. And at the end of the day, we as people cannot choose that. We cannot choose a response. So if
That's
you're
right.
going to say something or put out a video, and like the Colts did, they took a risk, and the organization was probably like, we don't even want to back this because we don't even know what Tyreek Hill is going to say. Luckily, in the end, he said, honestly, this was jokes. It was funny because it was. That ended up right in their favor, but he could have been like, man, F this, F that. Y'all don't even win anyways. Da-da-da. He could have took that approach, but he didn't because it didn't, matter to him that much. But it depends on the situation, and it's kind of like a case by case type of situation. So
No,
I
that's
think I think when you're in the public eye, you gotta get public skin. Pause. You gotta get public skin because you're in the public eye. So things are gonna be said. They're just gonna be said,
but
and your job is not to become a part of the content. That's what your job is as a public figure, to not put yourself on the docket. As what's the lady name with the hammer from
Judge Judy.
Miami,
Oh, the hammer.
Kaya. You don't know Kaya?
the only Kaya I know is Cooking with Kaya, and she's from Atlanta.
Oh my goodness, Stat! Shout out to Kaya. You gotta get your stuff together, Stat. Come on,
You also got to remember
come
we
on,
have different
Stat.
memories of
Stat,
things.
no, Stat, no. Kaya, don't cook her up, please. Kaya, don't cook her up. She don't know no better.
Let me say this. Stat,
Go ahead,
She
hold
had
Maurice.
the record. She had the record, her neck and her
her back.
back. You know that song?
Oh, yeah.
It's the same one.
Yeah, that's a big dog. That's a big dog from Florida, Stat. You ain't really from Florida, Stat.
I am. I actually only claim Florida, so I've been very consistent.
Oh my goodness. Whoever put that video up of me, that was hilarious. I did not know that was my like eyes and nose on that video where it says, and this is Mace's favorite teams, and then it got me up this end. The Sacramento
Oh,
Kings.
yeah, I seen that.
The
I see.
Boston Celtics. People got too much time on their hands. Shout out to Bub, man. That was
It's just
great.
comedy, man.
Yeah. Maurice, did you have a point before I
Yeah,
move on?
no.
Yeah.
So when you were talking, you sound like my daughter, right? But it's making a point where when you say something to my daughter, this new generation, and it's not good or bad, it's just the way that you get trained in school and to be more aware of your emotions and be more aware of how you process things. And they think everything is personal. They think everything is an attack. And that's how this whole thing with Tyreek even becomes a thing, because like people just used to say things and it's like, hey, it's not that serious. But somewhere in society, we've been taught to like psychoanalyze every single thing that somebody says as if it's that deep. And when Mase is talking about, like when I say there's harsh jokes, there's funny stuff, like when you just come from a different generation, like it just wasn't that serious. But somewhere we decided to take everything serious, and that everything became offensive, and that everything that somebody said was either malicious or intentional, or it has some like historical context. Sometimes the stuff just ain't that deep. It's just a joke. And that's what it is. And so you talking actually helps me. Like sometimes it's just a generational disconnect of like how people joke, what they receive, what they take personal, and there probably needs to be more skill around stuff like that.
Yeah.
But most stuff just isn't like people don't do stuff with that like with ill intent. There's not like some deep rooted thought. That's all I want to say.
Yeah, in California they're more desensitized. And in New York, the humor is very dark. It's very dark. It's like you almost died, but it's funny. You know, it's like he almost died, you know.
Yeah.
It's so callous.
And
So I understand the difference of the worlds.
yeah, and I didn't mean that in a bad way, but when I talk to my daughter, I'll say something. She'll be like, "Yo, Daddy, you're offending me. Daddy, you're my personal
Yeah.
space." And I'd be like, "What are you saying?" And then she says, "Well, I have the right to like take a breather for something." And in my head, I'd be like, "What the hell are you talking about?" I love my baby. She said that.
Yeah, it's like it's the difference between go out and get the switch versus I'll call the cops on you. I'm not going to get no switch. I'll call the cops on you. It's two different worlds. It's just two
Yeah.
different worlds.
But
And,
yeah,
and I
and
love
that's
my
also
baby. That's all I want to say. I
yeah.
love my baby too.
No, clearly she loves you too. And even the fact that she can just have those conversations with you, even though you're like, what? For her even comfortable telling you that already great dad at work because like y'all can have those conversations, y'all can talk things out.
Oh
That's
yeah,
to her because some people can't even have those conversations if you do
yes, that we didn't get to do that. We started doing that. She said, "You cry. I'm gonna give you something to cry about."
it. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's different. And so like even back to Mace, like I know you joke about like sometimes the disconnects, but it's like we grew up completely different because the point you made about sports completely different for me because yeah, I know I joke about, growing up in Florida, but I really did. I consider myself Southern homegrown, Southern hospitality. I was just always taught to be kind to others. Not saying that you guys haven't, let me make that clear, but it's just kindness prevails. I don't sit in,
Kindness prevails. I don't think
yes,
I ever heard that growing
that's
up.
just how I think. Like,
You know,
be
know
kind
what we were
to
taught?
everybody.
We were taught nice guys finish
Finish
last.
right.
See, I don't even know.
You see the difference, that you saying
Yeah.
kindness prevail, and I'm hearing be nice here, and then I hear nice guys finish last.
See,
Hey,
yeah, that's it. That's
hey,
what I'm saying. It's a disconnect because I don't even think like that. Even like when you guys all share stories, I'm like, well, are you okay? You guys are like, yeah, that's fine. We just charge it to the game. And that's cool if you want to charge it to the game.
Yeah,
But sometimes the thought process in between, I'm just thinking like, how can we make this positive in the end? And y'all might laugh at me, but that's literally how I think. I'm just a nice person. I want everybody to be kind. I would hope the world could be lollipops and rainbows, but I don't know that that's not the truth. And that's just the world that we live in. And that's that. Nothing you can
no,
stat,
do about
it's
that
it.
was
beautiful.
crazy. Stat, that was crazy.
Lollipops and rainbows?
Lollipops and rainbows. Stat,
Yes. But that's
that
not
was
reality. And I
crazy.
know that.
Oh my goodness. Where's Nick at? Her reality is lollipops and
No,
rainbows.
it's not the reality, which
That
is the
was
reality I wish it was, but
crazy.
I know that that's not true. I just think if we could make the world a better place day by day, that's what I would hope for. But I know that that's not reality. So, hey, it's the world we live in.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I just grew up around too many ruthless people. Stat.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I did it. I just had to figure things out on my own. I was my little nerdy self in my classrooms, and I just did what I did. Y'all
but this
cannot do the same.
no, this is the beauty. Like this is the beauty of the generations of the show, the dynamic of the show.
Yes.
This is the beauty of the spectrum of Black people. Just it's beautiful. Stat. It's even beautiful that you was raised that way, you was brought up that way, you have perspective that way, and you have your innocence. And so
And I want to maintain that. And I just want to make this clear, not even just for y'all, but for people watching. I think a lot of the times when they're like, dang, Stat, how did you not know this? Or how did you not watch this? I'm trying to give you guys insight into my mind and the way that the environment that I grew up in, that's how I approach things. Obviously, I've learned that is not the case. That is not the truth. Being up here with Mase, Maurice, Cam every day, trust me, the reality check has been hit. I know. But I'm just saying that's kind of the thought process. So that's why I view things the way that I do. or speak on what things the way that I do, because that's just how I think.
No, but shout out to your mother and father who raised you right, who raised you in a responsible manner. You're you're a phenomenal product of both of them.
Thanks.
But I say this in a respectful and like big up way.
Yeah.
I'll raise my daughter similar to how you raise, and so she probably has a similar an experience similar to yours, right?
Yeah.
But in saying that, we all have to exist in the same world together, and so we're just going to see things differently, and we're going to view people differently. And Mase probably grew up like me, where you can't trust none of these niggas.
Yeah.
Right.
Can't trust your second uncle. That kind of.
You go around niggas who don't love themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. And trust me, I see it. But of course, my hope is that one day that trust will come back for somebody. But I know that the mentality is just, I'm locked in. That's just how I move. No new friends, that type of thing. Like, I'm locked in on me, and that's that. And I can see it. You know, I see it and I understand it. But on the flip side, I would hope that things eventually become a little bit better. That's all. That's all.
Now you from London, Stat? A little bit better.
Ever since we had the Gilgis Alexander, like, that's been kind of in my head.
Oh,
and I'm like,
goodness. Yeah, and I'm telling you, I've been really thankful, because every time I'm flying and I come across people, it's amazing. These two kids were in the store arguing about me being one of the best sports journalists. They didn't even know me for music. So that's why I say, oh yeah, I gotta put the music out. This little boy said, Mommy, that's the sports guy. and I was
like,
yeah, but every time I'm going somewhere, man, I didn't know how much people love the show. Like, every time I'm going somewhere, one guy stopped me and just says some phenomenal things. So shout out to all of the fans and all of the people. And they love you out there, Stat. There's people be fighting for you.
I feel the love every single day, and I appreciate everybody who supports and just uplifts and supports the show, and even pokes fun. Like, I can look, they be joking, I be joking too. Like, let's not get it twisted. So I love all of our fans. Thank y'all for tuning in every day, supporting everything that we do. It's a blessing. So yeah,
man. They even bring up Mo, they bring up OJ, they bring up Michael Irvin. And that last video of Michael Irvin, I can't wait. I can't wait to talk to Michael Irvin about that. What was he thinking? Glitter all over his body. It was crazy.
Oh, you talking about that? Oh,
kicking Ant-Man.
Oh my goodness!
You got the video of him in Brazil, and then you got
the house. Yeah, he's standing there like he's waiting on his part on Uganda, you know.
Yeah, he's living his best life.
Mike living his best life. I gotta get, you know, in the mentality of Mike Irvin, enjoy my life. Mike is enjoying his life.
Hey, Mike,
how do you do that?
He was talking about the bucket list.
Yeah.
Hey, going to one of them parties.
Yes, that trying to do the bucket list.
He got it. I don't know. He got it. Okay, y'all. Well, that is all the time that we have for today. Maurice, you know, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show.
And don't forget, at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm putting a QR code up in my link in the bio on Instagram, RSVP Mase. And if all of you send the information, I'm gonna send you the music. It's that simple.
Hey, make sure
it's 890 subscribers. We see it right now, so you can't lie. I'm not gonna be able to lie. We're gonna be able to go on my phone and say, "Oh, it's time." So make it the time. Let's go.
There you have it.
Accountable.
Oh, we are.
Nick gonna click this.
We not gonna text you. I'm gonna call you.
Yeah. Listen. It's not all mixed, but I'm gonna still send it to you. That's cool. It's for the people. It's for us.
Okay, love that. Okay, thank y'all for watching, and as always, it is what it is.
What you want, nigga? Everything, nigga, super size. Two Big Macs, like when they doing them 2 for $5.